Whew. And ladies and gentlemen, we have made it. We made it to the very end and a productive evening. We are finally caught up, except for tonight's episode of SmackDown. We're finally caught up, though, with these reviews. Feels good. Feels so much better to be caught up. Especially, of course, we're going into the next couple of weeks. But, again, we're caught up for now, but it feels great. And, of course, to celebrate getting caught up, the last of the Krabby Patties. Rest in peace, Krabby Patties. What is, guys, going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993. And we are here live for my... Well, wait. I'm sorry. We're not live. We're not live. Hopefully again someday, though. But we are here, pre-recorded, to discuss this past week's episode of AEW Dynamite. The January 18th. 2023 edition of Dynamite. And this show took place still out in Cali, but not in LA. We were in Fresno, California this past Wednesday. Another great show. Again, as I've said the past couple reviews, I keep feeling like AEW is like getting its wheels back for sure. We had some great storytelling, some good matches, something still to do without Jeff Jarrett. Still don't get it. And we had a huge shocker. A huge turn of events. Which I will, of course, discuss when we get to it. But, of course, we're near the end. I'm getting exhausted. But I'm still going to do this. We're still going to keep on trucking. And finish strong. And, of course, I even have a couple baseball videos left. Maybe I'll try to finish them tonight as well. We'll see though. But we're going to keep on trucking. We talk about Dynamite. So let's roll in here. The show opened up with an AEW All-Atlantic Championship match between Orange Cassidy and Jay Lethal. Of course, you know I do like Orange Cassidy. I do like Jay Lethal. But I still cannot stand for the life of me. Why the hell are they giving Jeff Jarrett this big, of a spotlight? I don't get it. The match with Lethal and Cassidy was good. During the match, though, over the barricade, Danhausen tries to steal the guitar of Jeff Jarrett and tries to play a few bars and whatnot, trying to cause a distraction as Jay Lethal had all of his cronies, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, and Jeff Jarrett raw at a ringside for him. But Orange Cassidy would retain the title though eventually after Danhausen did help out Orange Cassidy from his cronies. After the match though, the heels get in the ring and Jeff Jarrett wants the El Kabong, but Sanjay Dutt stops him to try and save his job. Orange Cassidy does the lazy kicks, and then Dutt wants to fight, but Lethal and Jarrett hold him back. So, we're going to do a match between Orange Cassidy and Sanjay Dutt. I don't really care for it. But this match, though, was great. This is one of a couple really good matches we had on the show. Young Bucks taking on Top Flights, Dante and Darius Martin. Now, I'm pretty sure the first time I ever remember seeing Top Flight wrestle was a match, I think, one of their first matches was, in fact, again, the Young Bucks. And again, watching that match, you saw the potential. Well, obviously, with Darius Martin's injuries, you've seen, the unlimitless potential of the unlimited potential of Dante Martin. When Darius Martin's had his chance to shine, he shined. And not only did they again shine in this match against the Young Bucks, but the shocker with a victory roll, Top Flight pinned the Young Bucks. Yes, I repeat that. Top Flight pinned the Young Bucks. Now, I don't think Top Flight doesn't have like a third ally or anything, right? I don't think so. But at first, you're not sure if that's going to set up for them to fight for the Trios tag titles. I still think the House of Black should feud with the Elite next and, quite frankly, put the Trios tag titles on them. But yeah, again, I still feel like if Darius Martin, who's had his history of injuries, if Darius Martin can stay healthy, I'm pretty sure that Top Flight will be the ones to dethrone the Acclaimed at some point this year. I think it'll be at Revolution, maybe a Double or Nothing. Just saying, but that was a nice surprise there, seeing Top Flight get the victory. And again, it comes full circle. Again, for me, I first saw Top Flight. They wrestled the Young Bucks. They had an excellent match, but they lost. Here they win. So again, this could kind of be like, lights the fire, and it starts them being maybe one of the best tag teams this year. I will even go as far as saying I think if booked right, Top Flight has potential to maybe be the tag team of the year in 2023. It looks like they have big plans for them. And I hope that is the case. I love me some Dante Martin and some Darius Martin. So we'll see, of course, where it goes. But speaking of the tag champs, we have the Ass Boys coming out because they're hyping the fact that they defeated FTR. They complained how the Acclaimed embarrassed them last week and claimed they made the Acclaimed and that they'll be the last time they've been embarrassed. Out comes the Acclaimed with Billy Gunn, who tries to get his sons in line. They run off and get on the mics and says he's sick and tired of them whining, and he tells his adopted sons that they're the tag champs and they need to start acting like it, and they're gonna sit down and hash it out next week. He has 2 words for them: family therapy. Of course, that makes you concerned. What if Billy Gunn does turn on the Acclaimed and reunites with his sons? We'll see. But that's probably at least like a filler feud. I would say they'll probably do the Acclaimed and the Ass Boys. Maybe, even though I'm not still the biggest fans of the Ass Boys, maybe that's a match they're going to do at Revolution. But I would still say by Double or Nothing, I think is when they should consider putting those tag titles on Darius and Dante. But we, of course, will indeed see. But then we had this interesting interview. Hangman Adam Page being interviewed by Renee Paquette, talking about Jon Moxley. Now, what was interesting, of course, though, this was, I believe, the first interview Renee Paquette has had when she interviewed the person that's feuding with her husband. Because you remember, in WWE, whether she was being interviewed, the interviewer, or whether she was on commentary, they did really make it awkward whenever they had Renee interviewing someone who was talking about her husband. I don't know, like I said, they just didn't make it feel awkward. But I like, they just made it feel awkward. But I like what they did here. Hangman said he physically feels fine, but Jon Moxley took something from him in their first match, and he feels like this win at least gives him his word back. He says that Jon told her that Hangman pushes him to be a better version of himself, and he loves and despises him for it. Hangman says if Moxley has anything to say to him, he can say it to his face. And he's got fences that need mending, but he doesn't want to be overly specific about it. Basically, there was a moment of him like, let me say something, but it's like, you know what, no, I'd rather not, or something like that. So, again, acknowledging that, they're just being honest. Hey, that's my husband. And I got something to say. No, I'm not going to say it. I said in my previous Dynamite review, I really think this is going to lead to a match between Moxley and Hangman Adam Page at Revolution. Again, I just don't know what the stipulation should be. I kind of want knockout match. But I don't know if they'll do that. I kind of get what lights out match, but again, that would have to be last, and we're already getting the what's it called now? The 1 hour Iron Man match, and then I thought maybe, of course, the exploding barbed wire death match again, but then I'm like, well, then that probably would want to go last too, and that Iron Man match needs to be the main event. But we'll of course see what happens. Jake Hager loses to Ricky Starks with a spear. Good. Afterwards, though, Stark leaves through the crowd to avoid the freaking numbers game again. Is anybody else going to help Ricky Starks out of these numbers games? I don't know. Again, it was cool that Starks beat Jericho, but I kind of feel like this feud's going on a little. What's the point of this feud going on if there's going to be nobody else to have Ricky Starks besides Action Andretti? And then, of course, take out the rest of 2.0. That's just gotten very flat. Again, I'm not a fan of Jake Hager's hat. I'm not a fan of 2.0. Sammy Guevara's fine. But then, of course, you also got Daniel Garcia, who I only cared about whenever he was teaming with Bryan. And this whole story of, are you a wrestler or a sports entertainer? Because he was getting momentum. But he turned on Bryan for no reason. Now he's back at square one. So, I don't know. I don't know about that. Jericho's in an interview backstage. He asked for a match against Starks and Action Andretti next week with Sammy Guevara as his partner. But then Dan Garcia speaks up and says he wants to be his partner. And Sammy tells him he can have the spot if he beats Action Andretti on Rampage. And he got him new pleather pants for gear. So, I guess that match was tonight. I don't know what happened with it. Bryan Danielson took on Bandito in the next match for his quest to become number one contender. Outstanding match. Again, I haven't seen too much of Bandito. He has not been featured yet as a big main event player. He's been putting over most guys so far since he's come into AEW, which is, it's okay. But dang, they gotta give him a spotlight. Him and Danielson had awesome chemistry and wrestled a very, very good match. Just another technical style match. Again, Bryan's just finding the right opponents for him to do excellent stuff with. But he does beat Bandito. And this is kind of in the story where it kind of comes to point, okay, I played nice with Konosuke Takahashi. And I've also played nice with Bandito. But now let's get some people who I know can be mean. And MJF then has a promo, though, saying he hears everything Bryan and the fans say about him not deserving a spot in the company. But people seem to have forgotten who he is and how he became world champion. And he takes that personally. Fickle is an understatement. Of course, probably referring to when Bryan had the word fickle when he was a heel back in 2019. But Bryan doesn't understand that he's only been dealing with Masked Max. Masked Max likes to keep things and have fun. But the closer we get to Revolution, the more the mask will slip. And nobody wants that. He may think he's a dragon, but a dragon is no match for the monster behind the mask. And this will lead to later on revealing that the next challenge for Bryan next week will be the Machine Brian Cage. And MJF had a segment where he basically, hyped up, Cage to be mean, and he also paid him as well. So that match will be next week. Again, Bryan has to continue to win every week up until February 8th to become number one contender. And of course, we'll see, how that goes down. We have a promo. Here's where things get very interesting. We get a promo package from Tony Storm, Saraya, who lost to Team DMD last week, and Hikaru Shida, where Tony talks about how she's winning her match tonight against Willow Nightingale. And then Saraya warns Hikaru Shida to stay in the back. Okay, well, obviously she doesn't trust Shida after what she did last week. Then we have a match with Toni Storm and Willow Nightingale, which I thought, okay, random face-on-face match, but it's different. Maybe this is where Shida turns, maybe? But at the beginning of the match, they shook hands. And the match is going on. Hikaru Shida, though, came out to ringside before break. After the break, though, the match continues to go on. And then, though, whenever Willow kind of got some offense going, Saraya jumped up on the apron and distracted the referee. And while that's going on, Toni Storm took advantage and grabbed the tights and rolled up Willow Nightingale. And I'm like, what the? But then just immediately after, Saraya charges in the ring, and her and Toni Storm turn heel and beat down Willow Nightingale. And of course, the Hikaru Shida is like, all of us are sitting there in complete shock. Did anybody expect this? I sure as hell didn't. And of course, as that's happening, Shida gets up on the apron in shock. But then as that happens, out came Willow's recent tag partner, who she had just wrestled against Ty Mello and Anna Jay with. Ruby Soho came out and made the save. And then Saraya and Toni Storm flee, but they're heels now. I did not expect this. They swerved me. It's strange because you thought that they would make Saraya a face for a while because, you know, she was not supposed to come back for a long time. But first off, maybe we kind of like, you know, already seen that with CM Punk. For someone we didn't expect to come back. And then kind of have the whole, like, it's great to be here thing and whatnot. But to be honest, what interests me about this, well, first off, again, it swerved us. Because, again, we had, you know, Hikaru Shida, who was teasing the heel turn. And Saraya just may have beaten Hikaru Shida to the punch. But I thought about this also. Because I know some people are thinking this is going to lead to kind of like a feud between the AEW originals and the AEW outsiders. I'm not sure I'm 100% on board with that, but what I'm thinking they're trying to do here, I wonder if they did this. Because, remember, before Saraya, as Paige, had to retire before, she was a heel. And she was forming a faction. I'm wondering if they're doing this to have Saraya kind of carry out what was going to give her niche before, and have her basically do her AEW portion, a form of absolution. Okay, we have Toni Storm right now. Not sure who else she'll recruit if that's the case. But I didn't see this happening. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. The fans kind of, I mean, okay. I'm sure people probably soured on Saraya after, well, first off, they gave her hell about her first promo when she came back. But also, the backlash that AEW in that women's match got last week because of, because they didn't have Mercedes Moné. It could be a follow-up from that. But I think what they're going to try to do, because again, even so, whether she's been like, you know, an on-screen, like a wrestler, or even so, like, you know, just like a GM or whatnot, Saraya has always kind of had that leadership role to her character. like I said, I wonder if this is going to lead to her more so just doing what she was originally planning on doing with Absolution. And hey, actually, I'll say this. I'm not sure how long she has a no compete clause for, but if you want to add a third member and make like her own version of Absolution, her, Toni Storm, who also is getting lukewarm reactions recently, Mandy Rose. What if AEW brings in Mandy Rose and that's like the third member of this stable? But yeah, I was shocked. I did not expect Saraya to turn, but hey, we need to swerve sometimes. They got me, and it's one of those like, I'm glad you got me moments. So I'm wondering where this will go. But it's one of those, we didn't expect it. Honestly, I feel like the last time we got I didn't expect this turn, honestly, was earlier this year when Edge turned heel. Well, it didn't work out in the end, but because we really had no clue what the story was. I mean, yes, it felt forced after a while. But again, I really feel like the story, the whole point of Absolution was, again, was Paige was trying to say, hey, you know, you women may have taken over while I've been gone, but remember, I'm the one who started all this. And again, Saraya may not be an AEW original, but she's saying, you know, I'm the one who really started this big movement as to why we're here today. Which again is hence going back to why she started Absolution in 2017. So, I'm intrigued by this. It was a shocker to me because I thought it was going to be Shida turning heel. But I'm intrigued to see where this goes. So, we'll see what happens there with heel Saraya and heel Toni Storm. We have Stokely Hathaway and Ethan Page cut a promo about Jungle Boy. Then we have Konosuke Takashita cut a promo where he says he loved wrestling Bryan Danielson as he's one of his heroes. And he learned so much, and he talks about how he doesn't trust MJF. There's a bunch of Japanese, and he says, basically what he said was, MJF is an asshole, which of course got a good reaction. And then the main event was Darby Allin versus Kushida. Of course, first time I've seen Kushida since he left WWE. I thought they had a good match. They hyped him up, quite a bit. And Darby Allin gets the victory, the Last Supper. And afterwards, Kushida and Darby Allin show a sign of respect. And that was the main event. It was a good TNT title match, and I thought it was a pretty good episode of Dynamite as well. Again, the Bandito and Bryan Danielson match definitely was, the best match. The whole moment of the night for sure was definitely Saraya and Toni Storm's heel turn. Again, I did not expect that at all whatsoever. Again, Top Flight upsetting the Young Bucks. That was awesome. I didn't give the show a B+. Like, I would say, last week was like an 89%. This was like 86, 87%, I'll say. Like, it wasn't quite as good as last week, but I still think it's a little bit better than a B. Because, again, we got the shocker. Nothing was, too horrible. Something that was decent, but not that bland. But I gave the show a B+. A B+ for this episode of Dynamite. It feels good to get to this point. We're all caught up, guys. Very good. So, guys, B+ for Dynamite this week. What are your guys' thoughts on this week's episode of Dynamite? What are your guys' thoughts also on the Saraya and Toni Storm heel turn? Did you guys see it coming? Were you shocked about it? Make sure you guys leave thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter at the Club of the Man 93. Be sure as always to shout for people sub. And follow me on TikTok at the Club of the Man 93. Guys, thank you again for your patience and everything. But I'm glad to get to this point. Again, I still got to watch SmackDown from this past week and get caught up on that. So hopefully I can get that done soon. But in a much better place than I was before this night started with these reviews. So I'm glad we're here. It's awesome. Guys, I'll catch y'all later. Hopefully soon, again, I can do that stream where I give my thoughts on the recent, WWE backstage outbursts and everything. And of course, we will go from there. So until then, guys, have a great rest of your night, and I'll catch you guys all later. Peace out, everybody.